Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, we're going to talk Start Collecting, Conquest, the Last Argument of Kings, and today we're going to take a look at the Dweghom and their one-player starter set and how we can use it to start a Conquest Last Argument of Kings army up. Now in this video, we're going to talk about everything that comes inside the box set, what all those units do in there, and what we can do with them. We'll then take a look at some other units we can bring into the force to build it up to a 1,000 point army. We'll then show you a little sample army list at the end of the video that you can use as some inspiration to build your own force, or indeed copy our force if that's what you wish to do. Now also, if you'd like to get yourself a discount on anything on the Parabellum website e-store, you can use our affiliate link down in the description of the video below, where you'll get 10% off everything off the Parabellum e-store, but you'll also go a long way to helping support the channel continue to do Conquest Last Argument of Kings content. But onto the video proper, let's get talking. First of all, we have Hold Rech. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that name. There is a lot of fun words in Conquest that you really struggle to say, but this is pretty much a combat leader sort of character for us. Clash of 4, 5 attacks, cleave 1 base. He's just really good on his base. Defense 4 as well, resolve 5. Everything about him is just solid right from the get-go. His supremacy ability, the Mountain Stands, is pretty cool as well, where this is going to allow him to do some extra cool things for the army on top of the other rules we've already got. This has got Hold Thanes will gain the Hardened 1 special rule when he chooses to use this. In addition, heavy regiments in this army have their reinforcement roll modified by +1. A roll of a 6 is always a failure, however. This supremacy ability is always considered to be active, so when he's on the table, Hold Thanes are just better at doing what they do, which is really nice. Speaking of hold stuff, we actually only get 2 kits in this box, but both kits are a dual kit. The first one, we get 24 Hold Warriors or Hold Ballistae. Now, Hold Warriors, they are a medium class infantry type units. They have shields, so they've got a defense of 2 base, but 3 when they get attacked from the front arc. Clash 2, 1 attack, 1 wound, resolve 2, and Tenacious as well for a special rule, where each time this regiment with a special rule makes a defense roll, discard 1 failed dice without effect. So they automatically just sort of knock off 1 wound. Sort of a staple of something at Dweghom. They're the tough army in the game. You can have some cool upgrades for them in Standard Bearers, Leaders. Exemplars are cool as well. While the Exemplars are alive, stands of the regiment have +1 resolve. In addition, any character gets +1 defense when fighting in a duel with an Exemplar in the unit. And you can have things like Herald of Stone, Herald of Fire, Herald of Magma, and Priest. And also, if your army has at least 1 Hold Rare, you can have a Minimancer in one of your various different units. We'll talk about him a bit later though. We then have Hold Ballistae. They are a light class infantry unit, shooting unit with armor piercing 1, barrage 1 at 24 inch, and shields, which is nice for a shooting unit, meaning a defense 3 shooting unit in the front arc. That's not all that common in the game, having shooting units with such good defense. Standard Bearers and Leaders, and pretty much the same upgrades as your Hold Warriors. Volley 2, pretty solid all round for a unit. Especially at 135 points. They're not bad. They're good defensive solid units to form the main battle line. Now the other 24 models we get can be built as either Dragon Slayers or Hold Thanes. Hold Thanes let's talk about, because obviously while we've got that Hold Rare and his supremacy ability on the table, they're going to be better. So they are base defense 3 with a shield, so defense 4 with cleave 1. They can have Standard Bearers, Leaders, and all the same upgrades as we've already mentioned for the other Hold units. Just a really solid unit. Clash 3 as well with that cleave 1. These guys inspired, you know, they're hitting on 4s and below. Can be really solid. Dragon Slayers are the other units, and they are heavy class infantry units. Clash 4 base, defense 4 base with cleave 3, which is insane. Fiend Hunter, so they get to get some bonuses against monster. Fiend Hunter will allow them to reroll failed hit rolls against monster, and the Hardened 1 rule as well, where a regiment with a special rule required to make a defense roll, reduce any cleave, brutal impact, or armor piercing value by X. These guys are just solid. They cannot have all the extra like priests and people of magma and all that, but they can have a Minimancer in them and a Standard Bearer and a Leader. Dragon Slayers are no joke, a ridiculously powerful unit. But with that all said, let's take a look at what we can use to expand upon them. Now we're going to start looking at some other characters we can bring in. And first of all, I want to take a look at one of the units that's available to not only the character we're going to talk about in a sec, but also these are a restricted unit available to our Holdrech. They are the Fireforged. They are a medium class infantry unit and they're a ranged unit with barrage 1 at 16 inch. Once again, they have shields, meaning they defense 4 in that front arc, volley and clash 2. They've got the strong arm and armor piercing 2 rule. Strong arm is really cool, where the regiment never counts their targets at long range as being obscured. So no negatives for long range, which is nice. They can have a standard bearer or leader in them. They can also have the Minimancer, a Herald of Fire, or a Flamecaster in the unit as some additional command models, which is really cool. A really sort of more souped up, powerful shooting unit. But looking at other characters, I am liking and tempted by the Tempered Sorcerer. This is a wizard. It's going to add a wizard, which is nice. It just gives you the ability to learn all the different rules for the game. I do like him though. He's got volley 3 with a barrage 4 20-inch attack character, as you would expect, and wizard 6. His supremacy ability, Elemental Puissance, is really nice, where each time his character stand activates, they gain 1 additional action. Cool. And he's got access to a variety of different spells, from some support, some sort of control, and some damage stuff as well. He has a Fireforged as one of his mainstay units, but also Hold Warriors and Hold Ballistay in there as well. Speaking of units though, for the Tempered Sorcerer, let's look at one of the units he can bring in as a restricted unit, and that is Inferno Automata. Inferno Automata are these cool sort of fiery machine dudes you see here. Fearsome, feral, fluid formation, and Aura of Death 2 is really nice, meaning they just put out death. They've got Clash 3, 4 attacks, 4 wounds, Resolve 3, and Defense 3 base. Pretty solid for a light class, a brute type unit. This is really cool. What I like about them, the fact they are light and brutes is really, really cool. Not something we see an awful lot of. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is, of course, that Minimancer. The Minimancer Apprentice is a unit upgrade for many of the different units across the army. While the Minimancer is live, stands in the regiment have the Fearless special rule, where they effectively can negate the effects of terrifying and all that. They reduce the amount of it by X. And they also gain +1 resolve if a Minimancer is in the unit. An army can only ever include a single Minimancer. In addition, any character in the regiment gains Flurry and Cleave when fighting in a duel. So putting him in the same unit as your Holdrech is a really, really good combination to really put out some pain for your opponent. And so here we have our little sample army list for you for the Dweghom in Conquest Last Argument of Kings. Now we've spent 995 points. There's nothing we can find to fit in for 5 points. Now, we've gone with the whole rare. He's going to be the Warland of the Argent Creed. So whole rares have to pick a particular one of these different warlord abilities. This one's pretty much just going to make him better at what he already sort of does on the table. He's then going to have disorientating strikes, which are going to allow him to sort of put some negatives in his duels, which is really nice again. And flaming weapon is going to be the weapon he's taking, which is going to give him some extra cleave and +1 to his clash. So really just making him good at doing the fight. A solid hero here, and he's going to be really good in a duel as well. Now we've got in his warband 3 stands of Hold Warriors with a leader and standard bearer, and then 3 stands of Hold Thanes, which are going to be with the Minimancer Apprentice, a standard bearer and leader. So this is the unit he's going to be joining, of course, because it's got the Minimancer in there. And then we're going to have a unit of Dragon Stays with a standard bearer and leader as well. As our other hero in the force, we've got a Tempered Sorcerer. He's going to have Heart of the Mountain, which is a once per game use item of arcane item that he can take, which is really nice. Once per game, the character ignores enemy interference and adds 1 to the casting difficulty for spells cast this turn. So difficulty 3 becomes 4, but he ignores interference, so it can be a really good thing, especially if your opponent's really getting on your nerves, potentially a better chance. And just for the beginning, he's gone with something simple like Fireball, just a damage spell. I think this is a great way just to sort of learn the game and start out and begin with. Just go with a damage spell to begin with and worry about playing all the techie stuff a little bit later. He's then going to have the Hold Ballistay as his unit in his warband with a standard bearer and leader. This leaves us with 2 characters, 1 light regiment, 2 medium, and 1 heavy regiment. A good sort of spread across the army. A nice little starting force with some really good solid units, and you don't have to pick up an awful lot extra. In fact, it's literally just the Metamancer and the Tempered Sorcerer on top of that initial box to get this force on the table, which is great. Really cheap way to get a cheap force on the table. If you've been playing with the Dweghom in Conquest, let us know how you've been going and what you've been doing with them down in the comments below. Well, that's the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below and let us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine community here at Sinful Gaming, you can do so by following the link in the video's description to our Discord server. And lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so either via Patreon or YouTube members, and both of those are linked again down in the video's description. As a special thanks to all our Patreon and YouTube members, I'd like to give a shout out to them all. So a special thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, James Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Cure Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Dynet226, and Derek. And a special shout out to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Vinny, Lockloric, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Shelf, Ariana Edwards, and Sean Scott. Lastly, a special thanks, first of all, to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for our channel, and to Xmorphic, who does all the amazing Discord server background work for us. Thank you all for watching. Once again, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.